What is up, you guys? Welcome back to another episode of Just an Era podcast. This week, we're going to be doing a Q&A, answering all y'all's questions on situationships, friendships, relationships, you name it. I love doing these types of episodes at least once a month, just so that way I'm truly making sure I am interacting with you guys, because I know you hear so much from me, but I would love to hear from you guys and what you want to hear, from advice to questions, whatever it may be. So before we get into that, little housekeeping. Make sure you're following Just an Era podcast for weekly giveaways. I'm going to have all the instructions each week within the 24 hours of the episode going live on the Instagram stories. And then rating the show a 5-star wherever you listen to the podcast, whether it's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or YouTube. And yeah, so let's just get right into it. My weekly era this week is I'm gonna honestly skip this segment and get into things a little bit later on. It's kind of dark and I don't really want to start off right away with it, but I don't know. Anyways, purchases of the week. I got so many dressers in this house because I have so many clothes. I don't know what to do with it. So I realized, looking in my closet, I have so much extra space above where my clothes hang. So I got some dressers that I can put underneath. So I got some dressers from Amazon. They're basic. They look like the IKEA ones. They're white, super modern, but they were cheap. They were about like $100 for two. So wasn't too bad. And I put all those together. And now I personally feel like I have so much space and I can buy way more clothes now that they're way more organized. But yeah, few little rants this week. Instead of doing like a little era, I just want to talk to you guys real quickly because, I'm just gonna rip the Band-Aid off. Basically, yesterday, my boyfriend's house had a home invasion. Really scary shit. Everyone's safe. No one was home. Super fortunate for that. But the last 24 hours, honestly, have been very, very hard for me. I've been trying not to cry. I want to continue working and I want to get my mind off of it, but it's been really hard. So that's why I just wanted to put it out there. Safety is so important. Home safety. It may say, oh my God, sound silly, but get those extra Ring cameras, get those deadbolts, get those extra poles to put in the fucking doors. Like, get a gun. I cannot preach enough how important your safety is, especially if you live alone. Although this did happen at my boyfriend's house, it's still scary. And a little bit later into the episode, like, this is a huge trigger warning, but like later in the episode, I will talk about it because it happened yesterday. So it's going to be at the end of the weekend recap. But I just want everyone to know, like, you never know what anyone is going through on social media or in real life time. So just be kind to strangers, be kind to people, because you really never know. Like, I was at Barry's today and I was trying so hard not to cry on the treadmill running at the workout class, and I'm like, fuck, like no one in this room like has no idea what I've been through in the last 24 hours. And I kind of reflected on that of like, holy shit, like other people go through horrible tragedies, oh my God, I can't speak, sorry, similar to mine, and like you would have no idea. And I know I put my entire world and life out there for the public to see, but there's people out there that don't use social media like myself. So you just never know what someone's going through. That's why I think it's important to make sure you are kind to people, especially on social media. Like, another thing that I did want to kind of rant about today is hate on social media and the hate that I get on social media. And I really have taken a step back from sharing a lot of my life. It seems like maybe I haven't, but trust me, I have. I never talk about my boyfriend anymore. I never post him anymore because it just seems every time I post him, whether it's a happy little silly TikTok, like no one understands me and my boyfriend's like sense of humor, the shit we joke about, like our banter, like no one gets that. And the second I try to like put that out there on the internet, it gets so much hate. And people are like, "Uh-oh, girl, like he ain't it. Like he's not gonna make you happy," like all this stuff. I'm like, y'all literally don't know. And it's crazy too, because it's majority comments from y'all like that I see follow me on social media, and you're commenting like mean shit about me and my boyfriend, or just trying to make like this whole image about my relationship, and it's like, guys, I am happy. Why can't you be happy for me? Even if I'm not happy, like, just be supportive. Why are you digging a deep hole for me with my relationship? Like, if you truly supported me, you wouldn't do that. So, especially with like what I've been going through, like the last 24 hours have been so fucking hard, and like just waking up and seeing like hate comments. I posted a TikTok on Saturday night when all this went down with my boyfriend, and I wake up the next morning to a bunch of hate on the video, and I'm like, bro, like, I didn't think anything of this video. Like, this is funny to me. Like, why are y'all so fucking negative? You just maybe don't want to see other people happy. Is that what it is? I don't know. And then on top of that, like, my podcast Instagram, the Reels, just get so much fucking hate from men, mostly men. Like, it's insane. Like, anyone listening right now, go to the podcast Instagram and just look at the Reels and look at the comments. Like, I'm trying so hard not to like break the fuck down, because at the end of the day, like, no one knows what's going on in my life behind closed doors, but it just sucks when I try to put so much of my life out there for you guys and the ones that actually support me, when there's so many negative, miserable, insecure people out there trying to tear down happy and successful people. So just try to be nice and be kind to strangers, because it really reflects the person that you are when you leave a hate comment. Just because you're negative doesn't mean you need to bring somebody who's positive and happy into that negative space with you out of jealousy. So yeah. Deep breath, Sam. I've been watching the Love Island USA, and I just want to say that I think Love Island USA is way better than the UK this time around. And I never thought in a million years I would be saying that, but the UK show, I feel like I'm watching like a different universe of people. Like, I just can't relate to any of the people in the UK show. The USA is just so much better tea, like attractive people. I'm loving it. And I am honestly finding it hard to watch the UK one. So let's get into our weekly recap. At the end of this, I'll warn you guys when I start to talk about, what happened yesterday, but let's get into it. So Wednesday, I went to Cancun, and as you guys know, I had mentioned I was going there to work with a hotel. I was working with the Hyatt when I was out there. I went to the Breathless Soul. I was supposed to be there from Wednesday to Sunday, which later on I'll explain to you guys why I left and came home early. But I didn't even get the itinerary on what I'm going to be doing on this trip until the day of traveling. So I'm like, okay, well, fuck, I'm a little bit anxious about this. I'm traveling to Mexico by myself, going to Mexico, crossing the border alone. It's scary. So I'm freaking out a little bit, but we ended up getting there. All the travel process was smooth sailing up until I exited the airport in Mexico. And we could not, for the life of us, me and my friend, she lives in San Diego and I live in Texas. So we flew different airlines, flew in around the same time, and we get outside to go look for the taxi. And we're supposed to be looking for someone that has my name on a sign. And, that's obviously the safest way go about it in my sense. Like, you walk out that airport and everyone's like, taxi, taxi, taxi. Like, miss, get in my taxi, I'm like, no, like, I've seen those movies before. I am not getting in your taxi. Like, I ordered this taxi ahead of time. I'm getting in that one. But we could not find it. It took us like 45 minutes to find this taxi. And we booked it through the hotel, but my manager booked it. So like, I had no communication back and forth. Like, my manager was like the middleman communicating to everyone and then like communicating back to me. But it took us 45 minutes and we could not find them. And obviously there's a language barrier on top of that. So finally I was just like, you know what? Just give me the hotel manager's phone number. And I started messaging her on WhatsApp and I'm like, hello, where is this like taxi? She's like, oh my God, don't worry. Like, I sent a photo of where I was standing and she ended up knowing where that was. So she ended up finding us. So I'm like, finally, because it had been raining too. Like, I also didn't even know when we were flying into Mexico, I was coming into a hurricane. So the weather was not great. Like, it was raining. Winds were so fast. We were driving by the beaches, getting over to the hotel in the taxi. And I kid you not, guys, the waves were like 10 feet high. I was like, what the fuck did I just get myself into? Like, this trip is already not on a great start. So We ended up getting to the resort, and it's about 7 o'clock at this point. And keep in mind, we landed at 4:30. So this whole process took like 2 hours just trying to like get the taxi, get to the hotel. So we're in the hotel room. We checked in, and they gave us a little tour. And they were like, "Do you want a tour of the whole resort?" I was like, "No. Like, all I want is my bed right now. Like, we can do the tour of the hotel tomorrow." And so we ended up just, doing the room tour and looking at all the gadgets because the entire room is extremely high tech. Like, there's a whole tablet that controls the whole room, and the tablet itself also controls like the room service. So I was like, fine, oh my God, like we're alone now. We locked the doors. We're like, let's just get room service. So we ordered room service, and we ended up just staying in the rest of the night. And I'm very happy we did that because I passed out about like 9 p.m. I got some fish tacos. She got like a chicken dish. It was really, really good, and went right to bed. That morning, though, we woke up. The sun was out. I was having high hopes. I was like, oh my God, the weather is going to be so good. Like, hell yeah. And people were like laying out at 9 a.m. on the beach. I was like, what the hell? Like, people would be laying out. And now I'm starting to realize, now I know why people were laying out, is because the sun hardly had come out all week. So any inch of sun that these people were getting, they were laying out. So we went to the gym, we got breakfast buffet every single morning we were there because I love a good breakfast buffet, and it's all inclusive. So like, there's no regrets. Sometimes when you go to a breakfast buffet and it's like $50, you're like, fuck, like I feel bad. Now I really need to indulge in all this food because like I just spent $50 on this buffet, but it's all inclusive. So it did not matter. I was pretty much making breakfast tacos every morning. They were so good. And I just we went to the gym, and then we ended up going to the spa for about an hour. And by the time we had lunch, we went up to the rooftop pool to have some lunch. We're sitting there, and I see these gray, dark clouds rolling in. And I'm like, fuck, like, this is about to be bad. And we hadn't even, like, laid out yet at this point. We had been laying out for, like, 30 minutes. And all of a sudden, next thing you know, it's like, I feel like we're in a tornado. That's how windy it was. I went on the rooftop. The tropical storm alarm started going off. So when those go off, everyone needs to go inside the hotel. So we rushed into the hotel, and pretty much from the rest of the day on, from like 2 to 6, it was downpouring. And I was like, fuck, like, obviously I'm super excited and grateful that I'm invited out here by this hotel. But at the same time, I'm like, I really, really want good weather. Like, who doesn't? Come on, like, let's be real. So we went to dinner around 6 o'clock. Luckily, the rain had stopped to get down to the restaurant. And we're sitting at dinner, and we look out, and it starts downpouring again. And I'm like, shoot, like, we're far from our room. Like, we need to. Luckily, they had umbrellas at the restaurant. And we took the umbrellas after dinner and ran right back up to the room. Now, from this point on that night, like, there was no turning back on that sun. Like, that sun was not coming out. It was 100% rain for this rest of the week. And I was like, we just need to get out of here. Like, I can't do this. So reached out to my manager, and I was like, let's just get out of here. I feel like we're going to be miserable sitting in this hotel room all weekend. And to be fair, the resort itself is pretty small. There's not a lot of activities to do inside the hotel. So I'm like, might as well just go home. Like, I got all the content that the resort needed of me in exchange for the free stay. And I was like, let's just get out of here. I got the content that they need, and we'll go home. So Friday night, I ended up just going home, and I'm so, 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 so grateful that I ended up going home. Didn't get home, though, until around like 7 p.m. And at that point on Friday, I'm tired. I have the Raw Dog Run Club in the morning, which I'm excited and ecstatic that I'm not missing that anymore. And so I just stayed in. My boyfriend had like a poker night with the boys, and he was going to pick me up at the hotel, or I'm sorry, at the airport. He was like, do you want me to pick you up? I'm like, no, like, you have poker. Like, I don't want to ruin your plans because my plans changed. So I was like, I'll just Uber home. I'll go home, take a shower, and pretty much just like go to bed. And he had the dog, so he dropped the dogs off at my house before I even got home. So by the time I got home, my dogs were at the house. And so I just went to bed. And next morning, wake up, Saturday. I love Saturdays in Austin, Texas. Like, Raw Dog Run Club, 8 a.m. By the way, guys, it's free, the Raw Dog Run Club. I get a lot of questions all the time. Like, do you have to pay for this? No, hell no, you don't. Like, they got hella sponsors. So with those sponsors, they were able to pay for, like, the drinks and, like, the snacks that everyone's able to hand out. So it's a good way for everyone to just get up Saturday morning, get a workout in, get social. And one requirement of the Raw Dog Run Club is you're not allowed to wear headphones. So if you show up wearing headphones, they're going to tell you, put them away. Like their one goal is for you to walk out of this making at least one new friend and having a familiar face next time you go. So if you're gonna go to the run club, no headphones, good vibes, and yeah, it's 2.5. It's not even 2.5 miles. It's a little under 2 miles, and the hill is what makes it good. Okay, like you can run the 2 miles, and the last quarter miles the hill, and you are sweating so much. Like I don't know how I would ever do that route like two in a row for like 5 miles. Like I don't think I could ever do that. So yeah, I ended up seeing a bunch of my friends there. I was running with them. Usually what I'll do when I go to the Run Club though is just because I'm vlogging is I won't really run with anyone. I'll kind of run. Oh my God, I just burped. Run, stop, go, like and record. But this time around I was like, you know what? I actually just like want to run because I didn't really get the best workouts when I was at the resort. And so I ran the whole thing without stopping. And I ended up going over to Whole Foods to get some groceries because I was like, okay, well, now I'm home, don't have any groceries. And then came back and I had those dressers I had to build. But one thing about me with any type of vacation is like the next 24 hours, I want to spend at home. Like, I don't care what it is. Like, I just want to be home in my house. Like, it just feels so much better post vacation or traveling when you are just home. So people were like, "What are you doing on Saturday?" I'm like, I'm at home. I'm tanning in my backyard. Like I'm not leaving." So I ended up just tanning in my backyard because I have these like lounge chairs out back, which hopefully soon, well not hopefully soon, I know soon I'm gonna have a pool. In about 3 weeks, I'll have a pool. So my tanning will be a little bit better by then. But yeah, so I just tanned in my backyard. And then later that night is when I ended up just going out with my boyfriend and a few friends. I started my night. We ended up just getting dinner at Uptown on the east side. Now, if you go out in Austin, there's 3 different areas you can really go out that are the most popular. So there's Rainy Street, which is kind of not fun anymore, in my opinion. It's very much under construction. It's a daytime drinking area. And I feel like hopefully once the construction's done and they start to build new bars, it will be better again. But realistically, 6th Street is the way to go. Like you can go on West 6th. West 6th is more college kids, sports bars. A lot of the bars there have TVs and bachelorette parties, tourists. And then the east side is little small bars, hole in the wall bars, but there's a lot of bars. Like don't get it wrong, like it's a whole strip of bars and it's a lot more of the locals, older crowd and cocktail bars, speakeasies. So I like them both. It really just depends on the vibe. Like I'm not going to be going on one side to the other. Like if I'm on east for the night, I'm staying there. I'm not making my way over to west. So yeah. And we went to Uptown Sports Bar for dinner. I had not gone there. It's been open for about like a year and a half now. And I got the steak frites. It was expensive. It was like $50, but it was well worth it because the portions were crazy. I posted a real vlog of this actually. So if you want like the visuals of my night, go over to TikTok or Instagram and you'll see the reel. And we got 2 drinks there, but we were like moving real slow. We got there around like 5:36 and we were meeting some friends at a bar after. So we're like, let's just take our time. Like there's no need to rush. And we got 2 drinks there. But one thing I will say is I am now in a phase where I'm collecting those plastic cups that all the bars have in Austin. Like if you get a frozen drink, they're all in the same cups, but they have the restaurant's logo on them. And I've been collecting them. And so when I got to this restaurant for dinner and I saw that they have those cups for the frozen drinks, I was so excited. I was like, I'm going to collect this cup. And so we ordered the frozen drink and it comes in a glass cup. I was so upset. I was like, I don't have the balls to ask me like, can I get it in like the plastic cup, please? But I think what most of the restaurants do is it comes in 2 sizes. So like you have the 16 ounce and then you have the 20 ounce. And like on the menu, it doesn't say anything about that. Like in majority of the places, I think you just have to like ask and be like, can I have it in the plastic cup? And so yeah, next time I go, I'm going to have to ask for it in the plastic cup because I like collecting those cups. Not that I really ever use them, but I don't know. Something about collecting something when you go to bars and restaurants, I don't know. It's fun to me, especially when I used to do that with the ducks from Lucky Duck. So at this point, I had 2 drinks. Oh, and I got a Hugo Spritz. Guys, Hugo Spritz are actually really good. They're with, mint and lime. I think it's, I don't know. We'll say. I will say, like, better than an Aperol Spritz, but who am I kidding? Maybe the one I had was just amazing. But then we walked over to Daydreamer, which is kind of like on the other end of East 6. So it was a little bit of a walk, but it's definitely worth it. It's a cocktail bar and in the back. So you can get like the seats in the front of the restaurant, and then the back is more of like a backyard vibe with picnic tables. So me and my boyfriend were the first one there. So we got a drink. He got a frozen Aperol Spritz, was I've had before. It's really good. I just got an espresso martini, and a few of our friends ended up showing up, and then we moved to the back where the picnic tables were just because we needed more room and space. And then we were there for like a while, so I was like, I'm kind of hungry again. Can we get a slice of pizza? So my boyfriend and I ended up splitting a slice of pizza from the all-day pizza food truck that's in the back. And then from there, I was really drunk, which someone on Snapchat called me out and was like, you were really drunk because you mixed your alcohols. And I'm like, you're totally right. Like, there's no way that's not the truth. I'm just very bad about not mixing my alcohols on a night out, because like I want a spritz, but then I want a espresso martini. It's like, how can you can't win it all, you know? So I'll try to do better at it, but I'm really bad at it. Anyways, so from Daydreamer, there was about 6 of us there. And we walked over to Lucky Duck, which, if you guys remember, you're an OG from the other podcast. Like, Lucky Duck is one of my favorite places to go, especially to get espresso martini when they're doing the happy hour, which by the time we got there, they weren't doing the happy hour. So we got a picnic table in the back, and we met a bunch of our friends there. So at this point, there's like 10, 15 of us there sitting at the picnic tables. I'm really, really, really drunk at this point, and I had about half a drink and went home. So for me, that is a long like night out. We started at 5:30, got home around like 10. Like, that is all I need. Like, you're telling me I'm in bed by 11? Like, please, I will take that over waking up with the Sunday scaries any day of the week. And so Sunday, which, trigger warning, guys, this is where I'm gonna start to talk about what happens over the weekend. So Sunday, woke up. We were having a really nice slow morning. The sun was out. It was such a nice morning. Like, we made breakfast tacos. I bought this pork chorizo, and so we made egg and chorizo tacos. Sitting there, I ended up taking a shower, doing some laundry, and around 10 o'clock is when my boyfriend's roommate gave him a call and was like, hey, dude, like, you need to come over to the house now. Like, it looks like someone broke into the house. And at this point, we're all kind of like confused because no one was home from our understanding. There's 3 of the boys that live at the house, and all you can see from the outside of the house is a shattered window, blood, like, dripped all over the place. And when we get there, the boys had not even gone in the house yet. Like, they called the cops, and the cops were like, don't go in the house. Like, you don't even know what's going to be in the house. Like, don't go in. So we get there, and there's a bunch of cops there at that point. And I don't want to go into too much detail, but like, basically it was a home invasion, and it's really scary to think that like something like this so sudden can change somebody's life, because I see so much stuff like this all over the news, all over the time, and I would never, ever in a million years ever think that something like this would happen to me, a loved one, or anyone I know. And we were just so fortunate and blessed that no one was home that night, because who knows what could have happened. Like, trigger warning, please, please, please do not listen to this if you can't handle this. But like, my boyfriend's bedroom, like, is the closest to the door. And after seeing the house, like, there was blood on the light switch. So this man clearly ran into the house and flicked on the light switch in my boyfriend's bedroom. So you just can't even imagine like what could have happened if he was there. And I feel like it's a blessing in disguise that I came home early from my trip to Mexico, because, you know, he wouldn't have been at my house. So yeah, I don't want to share too much. I'm sorry. But just be nice to people. Don't take life for granted, and hug your loved ones. Get that extra security. Like, I'm going I'm gonna get a gun. Like, I you just never know what can happen. Now, we are very fortunate that a lot of the neighbors got cameras. Like, I think every neighbor surrounding their house has a camera. So maybe down the road I'll share more, but we're gonna get to the bottom of it, guys. But I'm just happy everyone's okay. Whew. So from the rest of Sunday on, I came home just because I did not feel safe staying there. He had to stay there for numerous reasons, and then he ended up packing a bag, and now he's staying with me until the near future. He's not going back there, and I'm not letting him go back there. So now I have a slumber party, hang out every night. So I'm actually kind of excited about it because it's kind of like a test. Like, can we live together? You know? But I just came home and I was tanning all day, just sitting out, kind of just trying not to think about what's going on. And then we made some dinner and went to the grocery store, which was so weird. I'm like, oh my God, we're going to the grocery store together and bring the groceries back to my house. Like, this is wild. So crazy. But yeah, so that was my week. Turn for events real quick. Craziness. Like, my life should be in a fucking movie or something. But this week, like I said, we're going to do a Q&A segment, and I'm going to touch base with you guys on boyfriends, situationships, friendships. So I'm super excited to do this. I feel like I could ramble about these types of topics forever. So let's get into it. First one. So my situation is a little boring, but I need advice on how to really kick things off. There's a guy that some of my teammates at school, I'm in college, are friends with. I've always thought he was cute. I added him on Snapchat a couple of weeks ago and started Snapchatting him only a few days ago. We have a little conversation here and there, but how do I keep this going until I can see him in person in August or September? Oh my goodness. So you're home for summer. Honestly, just keep getting to know him. But girl, get off Snapchat. Like, ask him for his number. Be like the confident, sexy girl. Like, there's nothing more than a man loves when the girl takes the initiative. No guy will ever complain being like, bro, like this girl like asked for my number. Like, men love that stuff. So I would just ask him for his phone number, like start conversations, like get to know each other, because I don't know how well you know him, but see where things go via texting. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, if you love just texting people throughout the day, like nothing wrong with it. But I imagine because August or September, like that's kind of a far time away, but definitely keep yourself on his radar. So ask for his number. I know you're in college, but I still do think Snapchat is a little bit, you know, we do phone numbers around here, okay? So yeah, ask him for his phone number. Hi, Sam. Love the new podcast. I've been listening since the beginning of the F word. I'm getting a new roommate in a little over 2 months, and her and I have hung out a couple of times and seems like we would really pretty much get pretty well together. I'm just concerned because she is previously a party girl and a little younger than me. I'm not trying. Oh my God. I am trying not to get stuck into that again. I graduate college in December and will be working a full-time job. I still want her to have fun as she's in her 20s, and I am not opposed to it even now. Then, any advice on politely setting boundaries? Honestly, I just feel like having the conversation with her of like, hey, just so you know, like, I would love it if there was like not necessarily like a quiet hour or like curfew. Oh my God, guys, I can't fucking speak. But like maybe Monday to Thursday, like no parties, no pre-games, and then maybe the weekend can be a little bit different. But like I don't really see there being a problem. I think maybe you're just getting in your head a little bit. I don't see the problem with having that conversation just to like set the record straight, but I feel like she would be respectful of that if you just bring it up. But yeah, just feel it out. Maybe you can have the conversation before or just see how living with her goes. And then if you start to notice like trends starting to happen, then have the conversation of, hey, like, would you mind if maybe Monday to Thursday, like there's no parties or pre-games in the house? Like I have work in the morning. Like I would appreciate it. Like, y'all are adults now, so hopefully she should be understanding of that situation. All right. So I have this friend who I would consider a close friend. Like, I have her as one of my bridesmaids, and if I got married tomorrow. We have been friends for roughly 6 years and has been staying in contact all throughout college, and now we are both living in the same city. I love her to death, but I'm such an a hang once a month. Oh, sorry, you did a star. I love her to death, but I'm hang once a month type of friend with her because she is a lot. Not in a bad way, but I love chill girl time where we can just chat and vibe. But I feel like almost always have to bring her out bring out a very extroverted, talkative side of me that feels inauthentic when I'm with her. Simply keeping up with the conversations. And most conversations with her turn into a 30-minute detailed story or a thing about herself. And I spend this entire time with her listening to her life, her bar drama, friends drama, work, legit anything I feel like I didn't want to get to share a single thing because I get stuck in a long story of her that has led the next. Oh my god, girl, oh my god. I'm just going to cut you there because like I've been there. Like I have fucking been there. I know you're saying I just want to grab coffee, chat about life, hear what others have to say, and enjoy our time together as girls. I can't help to feel annoyed that it's also getting turned into her talking and listening and not listening. Um, and consider us close. But this has really had me distance myself lately, and I don't want that. I hate to break this to you, but like if you are feeling like reflect on the energy and how you feel after your hangout. When you leave, are you like, oh, I am so happy to be gone. I'm so happy to be going home. Like, a relief off your shoulders. Then I hate to break it to you, but like that friendship is just no longer. And I've had many conversations about this on the podcast of like, it's okay to outgrow friendships. Yes, you've been friends for 6 years, but y'all are not the same person anymore. Maybe you used to be kind of similar to her when you guys first started hanging out, but there's nothing wrong with moving on and finding new friends and kind of distancing yourself. Like maybe you're going to feel a little bit guilty about it, but like, girl, I've been there where you hang out with people, it's draining. All they do is talk about themselves and they never ask you like how you are or what's going on in your life. And it hurts and it's exhausting. So don't feel the pressure to maintain and keep up a friendship, especially if you're only seeing her once a month. Like you should want to be friends with people where you're like, I want to see them once a week. Like my closest girlfriends, I'm like, I want to see you like honestly every other day, you know? So just reflect on that. Like, don't feel the pressure of keeping a friendship going just because the history y'all have together. Like, it's normal to like outgrow friendships, especially in your 20s, your 30s. Like, you change so much. And I know you say you want her to be your bridesmaid tomorrow if you got married, but like, I see the same shit every year. Like, I had a best friend about a year and a half ago, and I was like, she would 100% be my bridesmaid. But if you look back now, like, no, she wouldn't be my bridesmaid. Like, she wouldn't even be in my wedding. Like, shit happens. Like, it's okay. So just reflect on the friendship and really think about like what you want to do. But just sounds like you're kind of forcing the friendship at this point. Hi, Sam. What would you do if your boyfriend's brother's girlfriend is being competitive with you? Oof, girl. Honestly, this is a stickler. Like, I feel like I've already answered a similar question to this last Q&A, but truthfully, like if she's considered family now, like it's a sticky situation, but at the end of the day, you just don't have to love and be on everyone's good side in a family. Like, let's be real. Do you know the amount of drama I feel like every family has? Like, you cannot sit here and tell me, like, oh, my family's perfect. Everyone loves each other. Everyone gets along. Like, every family has, like, the crazy aunt, the crazy uncle, like, the two siblings that always bicker. Like, no family is normal. So, I know y'all are not, like, related by blood or anything, but, like, you're both dating, like, two brothers. So, I can understand that being hard, but just know the competitive, jealous side comes from her own insecurities and has nothing to do with you. So, distance yourself if you need to, but maybe tell your boyfriend about it. Maybe does your boyfriend notice it? Because that's one thing that my boyfriend's really good at is like noticing my friendships with other people and like how people are either jealous or competitive. Like he points that stuff out to me and it validates how I feel so much. So if he notices it, like your feelings are valid, but just know like you don't have to like suck up to her and be on her good side at all. Like just like keep your space, be neutral with her, but there's really nothing you can do about it. Like not to bring like my whole family like drama into this, but like my dad doesn't like his sister's husband. Like that type of stuff is normal. Like they're like grown adults. They have history. Like shit happens. I'm going into my senior year of college. I've been with my boyfriend since freshman year. All my other friends are still single, and sometimes I feel a little disconnected. They love debriefing the night in their roster, but I am so out of loop with all of it. They also never check in on with me and my boyfriends, so I feel like I have nothing to add to the conversation. Like, who wants to hear about relationship sex? Feel guilty for hanging out with my boyfriend so often, not having those girls' nights as much. But this is how it makes me feel. They all go out, talk to guys, and I always end up wanting to go home, go to my boyfriend. I hate confrontation, so I don't really want to bring it up to them. But what are ways I can hint at my feelings and also enjoy girls' time again? First of all, you're definitely in your head when it comes to, oh, no one wants to hear about relationship sex. Because if they're your friends, like, they'll, like, hype you up. They'll support you, like, oh, like, if you say, oh, like, my sex life is great, like, they should be like, oh, yes, queen, like, love that for you. Like, I feel so comfortable talking about that stuff with my friends because it shouldn't be awkward or weird talking about it. If anything, you probably have a better sex life than them. Like, sorry. Like, a consistent hookup is better than, like, a one-night stand in terms of, like, being able to actually finish. You know what I mean? So, you're definitely getting, like, the perks, okay? So, I hate to say it, but I've never really bragged about a one night stand. Like, it's never been like fucking amazing to the point where I'm like, oh my God, like, we need to discuss this. So be open minded to talking about your relationship. Like, I know I say this all the time though, like, the hardships in your relationship, like, there's no need for you to be like going to all your girlfriends, like, ranting about it because then you're going to create a narrative of your boyfriend to your friends. But like, there's certain things where you can talk about. Just talk about it because you never know, like maybe one of them is getting in a relationship too in a few months and they're going to want to talk about it too. Like you will end up having people that you will relate to. I do get it. It's like a hard time for you where you don't feel like you're relating to anyone. And I also can't imagine that. Like I would definitely be the same way of like, oh damn it, like all my friends are single, like they're all going out, no one's really talking to me, or like girls' nights out, like they probably don't even want to invite me. But you just got to remember, like, if you're happy with your life, those late nights, like they don't matter. They really don't. And hopefully some of your friends will get to that point where they want to like settle down with guys and you'll be able to go on like double dates and stuff. But just push through, my girl. Oh, but hinting, if you want to hint at it, I would just say like, oh, I wish like if you're not getting invited to certain things, I'd just be like, oh, I wish I could like come to that, or like, oh, I wish you guys would let me know, like I would 100% come to that, or XYZ about like whatever hangouts or whatever they're doing. So, and then also, are you making sure you're keeping up with them? Because if they're not keeping up with you, they're not going to keep up. Like it's a 50-way goes. Sorry, my brain's fucking mush right now. But like, you need to make sure you're putting in the effort with the friendships of those girls. Like, ask them how their night was, because if you're not, then they're not going to ask you, you know? So, you can't sit back and just expect people to ask you questions about your love life, your sex life, your weekends. Like, you need to also put in the initiative. What is your advice on making new friends or rekindling old friendships? I just moved home post-graduation college, and my two best friends that I still keep in touch with from high school are staying in their college hometowns indefinitely. I have my boyfriend in my hometown with me, but I need my girls. So, old friendships, if it wasn't a falling out, then yes, rekindle it. But if it was a falling out, an ex-friend is an ex-friend for a reason. But you gotta, you're in your hometown, so it's definitely a little bit different. But like for someone who is just in a city or a town trying to make new friends, like you need to be out and about doing things. Like those surface level friends that you have are going to be the reason that you're able to meet new people at pre-games, at parties, at the beach, on a boat, like whatever your plans are, you will meet so many people. Be patient, but throughout meeting all of these people and having a bunch of just mutual friends, you will find your like ride or die people. And I know people always shit on, oh, like surface level friends, like blah, blah, blah. There's no benefit to those. Yes, there is. When you have surface level friends and you have people like the party people, your run club friends, your gym friends, like the more you're out and about is the more you're going to meet people and the more ability you're going to be able to have to make deep connections with people. Like you're just going to click with a few girls. You'll notice it. Like I knew right away, like when I met certain people and they put the energy into actually wanting to hang out with me outside of like a party that I met them at, like I knew I was like, we are going to be friends. But yeah, get out of your comfort zone. Like ask a girl to go on a walk, to go get coffee or go to the beach or go on a run, go to the gym. Like get out of your comfort zone. Like going on friendship dates is really hard. Like actually over the last week, I went to go get coffee. I don't know if maybe some of you guys will know her, Courtney Shields. She's the owner of Dibs Beauty. And I went to go get coffee with her and I was just so nervous. Like, I don't know why. Like, I've met her a billion times at work events and brand events, but something about going on a first time, like, friendship date, it's awkward. It's uncomfortable, but like, you need to do it. Like, I remember the other morning sitting at my house, like getting ready and being like, I don't want to go. Like, do I make an excuse as to why I can't go? Like, ugh. But you just got to power through. You need to get through that uncomfortability of the interaction at the beginning. And I'm sure it will go smooth sailing after that. But make sure to, like, if you're going to go hang out with somebody, make sure you're truly engaging in the conversation. Put that phone away and ask them questions about their life, and just like fully be in the moment. All right. I have this one friend I've been best friends with since we were like fifth grade. We were inseparable our whole lives, basically until college. The past few years, every time we hang out, I'd get texts, and I always text her first to make plans. And I feel like I've never gotten a text from her. I'd never hear from her again. It was really hard for me to kind of grieve this loss of a friendship without us ever talking again. I don't think she sees things the way I do, but it's really upsetting to me. I don't know if I should keep in the effort and try or just let it die. Girl, I'd let it die. I'm actually going through that right now. I'm the same way. Like, I will be up someone's ass, texting them until the point where I realize, oh, fuck, like, it's always me and never you making the effort to hang out. So if you feel that's the energy that's being perceived, you just got to let it die out. You can't be putting 100% energy, and you can't even be putting 75% energy into a friendship. And like I said, you will find those people that will want to put the 50% effort in. And I know it's hard because you have the history with her. You've been inseparable since fifth grade. But like I said, like, you don't even know from her end. Like, she may just not relate to you anymore, but she doesn't want to speak up about it. Like, y'all, fifth grade to what your age is now, like, y'all are different people. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're a different person than you were in high school. You are a different person than you were in college. Like, shit happens. Like, I get you have the history, you have the memories, but it's just part of life, and friendships die out. And honestly, those are kind of like the harder ones just because like there's no closure on it. It's just more of like the die out process. But I don't know. I would just put in effort into the people that actually want to make plans with you. It feels so much better. Uh, okay. I literally bent over backwards for this girl who I thought was my friend, only for her to stab me in the back, choose her boyfriend over me. I'm just heartbroken. Part of me wants to egg her new house or something. What do I do? Girl, you gave me no details as to what is going on in this. So basically, what you're saying is that your friend that you would do anything for stabbed you in the back. I would be the bigger person and not go egg her house. Take a deep breath. Ready? Here, 1, 2, 3. Deep breath. Don't go egg her house. Be the bigger person. Move on. Enjoy life. Post it up on social media. Like, show her what she's missing out on in a friend, in a person. Like, you're fun. You're good vibes. Clearly, she's not. She backstabbed you and whatnot. But go, just do your thing and move on. I need more detail on that next time. I have been with my boyfriend for almost 5 years. We have lived together for almost 3.5. He will not propose to me. He says he wants to, and he wants it to be with me, but won't make the final step of a commitment. I try to talk to him about it, and he always gets defensive and says he will do it on his own terms and his own time, and is getting annoyed when I ask. He thinks I'm just asking selfishly. I want to spend my life with him and get married, but I feel like he doesn't want to. Am I overthinking or just impatient? P.S. He was engaged to his last girlfriend, and she cheated on him, but that shouldn't change him wanting to spend his life with me, right? Okay, sounds like he has a little bit of like PTSD from his last relationship. And honestly, I can't blame him. Like, getting engaged and getting cheated on, like, I can imagine he definitely wants to do that again with you if he's saying that, but he's probably just scared. And I feel like you do need to let him kind of go on his timeline. Because imagine this, similar thing happened to you. You get engaged, a man proposes to you, and he cheats on you. How likely would you be to me moving into another engagement? You know what I'm saying? So just put yourself into his shoes and kind of think about it before like just going to conclusions and overthinking it. Like, I'm sure he does see himself living with you for the rest of his life. Like, y'all have been together for 5 years and lived together 3.5. Like, come on now. He's not just wasting his time over here. Like, he probably knows that he's going to do it. He just needs time, and he doesn't want to get hurt again. Because I imagine like how hurt and like tragic going through that is. So just put yourself in his shoes and kind of reflect a little bit. All right. Hello, fellow Texas girl. I loved your podcast on friendship breakups. I'm going into my senior year of college, and I've been with my boyfriend since freshman year. All our other friends are single, and sometimes I feel very disconnected. They love debriefing the nights. Wait, did I already read this one? But I think I read this. Did you resubmit twice? Yeah, you did. It's okay. Okay. I have a really long one right here, and I'm like, do I read this? I will. Okay. I've known my ex since he was 14. We met through our sports where I was close friends with his sister. I heard from someone that he really liked me, but he never ever tried talking to me, but eventually added me on Snapchat after a failed 1 month relationship and a year of talking. We started dating when we were 16. I genuinely thought I would marry him because he treated me amazing, even though I wasn't the best to him. I was his first everything, and he was my first everything as well. We broke up halfway through freshman year of college. We both be seniors next year. So about what, like 3 years ago, y'all broke up. But we both came to the US for school on sports scholarships, and I broke up with him because I cannot do long distance. I don't know what it is. It's just like an object persistence, but with people. He then started performing worse in his sport, and everyone blamed me, his coaches, his parents, him. Every summer since we broke up, we go right back to acting like a couple, and even though I know we're not getting back together, he always thinks we will. My friends and family say I'm leading him on, and I do feel bad about it, but he helps me a lot in my sports we play, and I really like having him as a friend. I also feel like I owe him something, so he asked to hang out. I feel like I can't say no. I don't know if I'd get back with him in the future, but as of right now, there's not in that picture. I don't think he's been with anyone since me, and I low-key seems like he's been waiting for me, which makes me feel worse. What do you think I should do? I'm also on the world's worst communicator. I have not really fully single since we broke up. There's always someone I'm talking to, obsessing over. Also just ended things with a 9-month situationship, so right now I'm just really I'm not talking to anyone. I really don't want to lose him as a friend. Selfish, I know, but I just know I shouldn't be in a relationship right now. Should I explain myself to him and probably lose him? And can I do it over text? You put your Instagram handle in here. That's funny. I just want, if you want to see the face to the story, I just submit something in a situationship a few weeks ago. All right, Miss Girl. So I definitely think an ex is an ex for a reason. You cannot be friends with them. Think of it this way. Say y'all break up and few years go by, you became friends. What would you do when you ended up getting another boyfriend? I don't think your boyfriend would be comfortable with you being buddy buddy with your ex. So I do think that you do need to move on. The whole family and sports and all that getting involved, like, I get that's a lot of pressure, but at the same time, like, it's not your fault. Like, if he's playing worse, it really isn't your fault. If anything, like, I feel like guys play better at sports when they go through a breakup. So I don't know. I wouldn't think too hardly into that as being your fault that he's playing worse. But I do think you need to move on from seeing him every time y'all go home and acting like a couple again. It's definitely not something you want to be doing. I've done that before where like winter breaks or just going home, like I'll hook up with my boyfriend or my ex-boyfriend when I'm home. But like, girl, we got to move on from that, okay? Especially if one day you want to actually get a boyfriend. But it sounds like right now you just want to be working on yourself, not really talking to anyone, not really obsessing over anyone. And I get it. Like talking to a guy and just getting attention, like it's fun. But if you think that you need to maybe work on that and not feel like you need to be talking to anyone or anything like that, like, and have a little bit more experience in life, you know what I'm saying? Like, you just gotta like delete. I don't know if you have dating apps, but get rid of the dating apps. Stop talking to boys on a regular basis. Like, only talk to boys when you're out at public places, like bars or restaurants, run clubs. Like, you can be flirty then, but like, I don't know. Stick to the girls' nights, have fun, and definitely stop trying to rekindle things. Not necessarily rekindle things with your ex, but just move on, sis. Like, trust me, you'll feel so much better when you do it. But yeah. I also had another long one. Let's see, where did it go? All right. Hi, Sam. So my question is how to avoid a codependency in a relationship. I'm an anxious person by nature, so it's just important that that you know that. Me and my boyfriend have been together for 3 years. I'm turning 18 this month. Our relationship is honestly like a cliche romance book. We're from a small town. We were next door neighbors, and the similarities between us are uncanny. Before we started dating, I was doing marathons and super independent, content being alone, solo flying to different states to visit extended family, you name it. I was down to do it alone and genuinely just as happy. Now fast forward and we hung out every day. Every night is spent together. No overnights because I'm still at home, and anytime I have off from my full-time job is just spent with him and at his house. Or we spend it at our tight-knit friend group that we brought me into. They've all become such an important part of my life too. Somehow it turns out as an issue where I couldn't imagine going anywhere without him. I've said no to so many trips, vacations because he can't go, and I genuinely don't feel stable enough without him. Our friendship is the best thing that has ever happened to me, and I just don't want he's the one. So it's not from a place of our relationship being toxic. He's actually pushes me constantly to go do things without him. It's even being a part of arguments at sometimes where he's like, what if I need to go somewhere for a week and you wouldn't be okay? So we both just know it's something I need to work on. I see you going out on all these trips. I've heard you talking about only seeing your boyfriend on weekends, not super often as you're focused on doing. Well, guess what, girl? Now he's living with me for the next few weeks. Starting your personal goals. So to sum up what I'm asking for you on advice is how do you focus on doing it? And what are some steps I can do to become less anxiously attached? So sorry for a long message. Just want to get as much info as I can. Thank you. Honestly, I appreciate the in-depth info because I would just went to the straight assumptions of like, oh my God, it's a toxic relationship. Get out. But it's not. It sounds like y'all are happy and it's totally okay. Like, and I'm happy that you are admitting to the fact that you are codependent in that relationship and like you notice that you need to work on it. And I think the biggest thing to take away is having your boyfriend be that support system to kind of push you to go do things because damn girl, there are some relationships and I've been in those relationships where my boyfriend was my everything. He was my rock, but it was toxic. And like, I had no friends outside of him. And it feels nice to have like different groups. So like for me in my relationship, I have my boyfriend And we have his friend group. We have my friend group. I have my own work. He has his own work. I have my running friends, and he has his work friends. He has poker friends. He has like we just have different groups. And it's nice to get that and be able to do our own things every once in a while. Because honestly, I feel like that helps build the relationship. And it also gives more to kind of talk about too. Like, I don't know. I feel like if I was just with my boyfriend 24/7, I would kind of run out of things to talk about with him. I'd be like, yeah. So like, what do you do this weekend? Oh wait, I was with you all this weekend. So it's just nice to have like different outlets and things to do. Um, I think trying to push to maybe finding like a best friend, like a best girlfriend, or just someone that like you can really like click with and hang out with is maybe step number one. If you can find someone who will also kind of help you push to do things on your own. I know your boyfriend will help you push you to do things on your own, but if you can have someone to go do things with, so like if you find a friend that will maybe go to the beach with during the day, or go on like those trips or vacations that you're talking about, like saying yes to those things and just getting yourself out there. Like you're going to have to be uncomfortable with it. You're going to probably hate it for a little bit, but in order to get comfortable with being without him, you got to be uncomfortable. So I know it can be a little bit anxious and whatnot, but like think about it this way. Like, what's the worst that's going to happen? Truthfully, what is the worst that's going to happen? And I think a good thing you could do is if you're going to go on a trip, maybe he can go on a trip at the same time. So it's not like you're thinking about it, oh, he's home, like sitting at home. Like, I wish I was home with him. Because if he's on a trip or something as well, then it's like you're not going to wish to be home because he's not even home. So maybe do something like that where he maybe on a Friday night is going to get dinner with the boys and you can go get dinner with some of the girls and start that way and just go from there and kind of build up other friendships outside of your relationship. But yeah, that is kind of my advice for what I'm thinking for you, Miss Girl. Should I do one more? I don't know. These are so long. All right. First of all, I'm very content in being single right now. However, one of my best friends just got into a relationship. I'm finding myself sad about it because I wish I had a boyfriend, but sad that my friends had an added priority, making time together less. Is it okay to feel sad and happy at the same time? How do I feel with loneliness going through all of this change? Girl, I've been there. Literally last year before I got in this relationship, like I didn't have a lot of friends. Like my roommate was honestly like one of my only-ish friends. And I realized like I need to make more friends. Like put myself out there, hang out with other people. Like you got to do that. Like, and you gotta keep yourself occupied, because when you get sad about not being in a relationship, then you start to force things and you start to like get in your head and shit. So just, it's okay to be upset about it. Like I've been there, and everyone can say that they've been there when they see their friend get into a relationship and their friend's happy, whatnot. So like just stay occupied, have plans, do things. And I know it's definitely something to adjust to where your friend is now with the boyfriend all the time. But at the same time, like I this is something I realized is like a friend that is going to literally never talk to you again after getting a relationship. Like, what the fuck? Like, I'm so big on like me and my boyfriend. If I notice one of my friends doesn't have plans for the weekend, I'm like, you can come third wheel me and my boyfriend and come get drinks or come get dinner. Like, I don't care. My relationship is so open to allowing my friends to come third wheel. We don't care. We're not going to make you feel uncomfortable. Like, you're just at dinner with your friends. That's how I want them to feel. And so maybe see if your friend would be open to like you tagging along sometimes. Like, especially if like you're her only real friend and like that's all y'all really have. Like, have that conversation of like, hey, like I know you're with your boyfriend all the time, but like I would love it if maybe like the three of us could do stuff together or whatnot. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. Now, do I say it has to happen like all the time? No, but like your friends should be open and considerate of those situations. Because I don't know, looking back on it and how that kind of happened to me, I'm like, damn, like I would have been the opposite. I would have been inviting my friend everywhere, which I still do. Like, I invite people all the time everywhere, and it's like you wanna be treated the way you would treat other people, you know? So yeah. But that's about it for me. I think I answered a good amount of Q&A questions, and I'm sorry that my brain is all over the place. I'm going through some fucking shit this week, okay? And so all I want you to take away from this is be fucking kind to people, okay? And yeah, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed. Love y'all. And I shall see you in the next episode.